Hello everyone, welcome to Carnivorous Plants Hub. Today I'm going to be bringing you a update on these Pinguicula leaf pullings that I did. It's been about 35 days, and then after the update and showing you how they look, once I pull this off here, we're going to be moving them from this over into this little taco tray thing that we get from Costco. This is what I put a lot of my pings in while they're kind of waiting and growing. So I'll show you what it looks like, the process to move them from whatever container you have them in, whatever you've been growing them in, and move them over to Substrate. You can see I use a paper towel here. So it's important that once these get to a point that they're ready, to move them from the paper towel that you've been watering into actual Substrate, so you can kind of keep them healthy and let them grow a lot bigger. Let's go ahead and first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna pull this off. I got my soil over here that's kind of ready to go. Look at all that bling in the soil there, that crushed glass. Beautiful. But let's go ahead and pull this off here. I'll give you a quick update on these, and then we'll talk about moving them from here over to here. Let's go ahead and lift this off. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and give you a quick kind of overview here. You can see one thing you're going to see is a lot of roots. Let's just bring it in. Let's bring it in. There we go. Look at all the roots. So how do you know these are ready? These are actually a little overdue. Once you start seeing these roots pretty consistently, that's how you know that these are ready to be moved into Substrate. And you can see we have a lot of roots. And this is probably more than you should have before you move them, but I've been super busy lately, so it is kind of what it is. They're still doing really good. They're still really healthy. But you can see this is just 35 days after these leaf pullings are put in here. There's a couple, like over here, I added some new ones because I actually dropped a ping when I was repotting the other day and it kind of exploded. So I've added some new ones in here. And I think these ones over here are kind of fresh too. I think these are only a few weeks old, but these ones over here are kind of the ones that have been sitting in here for over a month now, 35 days. But you can see how crazy these grow if kept in the correct conditions. And I just have a ton of little pings here that are ready to be potted up into an actual container. And hopefully within the next several months, these will start to grow really big and strong, and they'll be ready to sell to you guys once they're ready. So, but you can get a really good look at these here. Well, as soon as you start seeing these roots pop up, and I'd say they're like 1/4 of an inch long, that's how you know that these are ready to be moved. Once they have roots, they're really ready to be moved. They're ready to start being in their own substrate and start taking on water from Substrate. So as soon as you start seeing these roots come out, time to move them over. You don't have to do it right away. Obviously, mine are still alive and they're doing really well, but you can definitely move them over as soon as you see these roots. There you go. Let's give you a quick look right here. That's the whole tray. So this is what I'm going to be putting them into. You can see I've got this tray here. Like I said, this is Street Tacos container that we get from Costco. If you have like a humidity dome, really anything out. Oh, I'm sorry. You don't even really need it to be a humidity dome. Now that they've got their start and they're growing, I don't keep this closed lid anymore. This is just going to be sitting in Substrate. What I do is I poke all these holes in it. You can see all these holes. So this is my water drainage holes. And what I'm going to do is I put this tray in here. I put it full of Substrate, which I got right here. This is my Substrate. And then the Substrate kind of pushes it down into this tray a little bit. Then I water the tray right here. This actually works really well. You can use really any type of a planter, anything that you can put Substrate in. So you can be creative, or you can get something off of Amazon, but anything really works that has good drainage holes on the bottom. Nice thing about pings is they don't need a ton of Substrate. So in this case, I'm only going to have probably about 1 inch worth of actual Substrate. They don't need super deep Substrate because their roots are really shallow. This is about as long as the roots are going to get, to be honest. They don't get super long. So you don't have to put these in a super deep Substrate. You could really put them in any planter that you choose, but the planter doesn't have to be super deep, like say for a Sarracenia or a Venus Flytrap that have longer, deep-reaching roots. Okay, I've moved my pings out of the way now. Let's go ahead and get this full of the Substrate here. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to give myself a shameless plug and talk about my store that I have. So I actually have this Substrate right here. This right here is a mix of peat moss, pumice, perlite, sand, and crushed glass. So that's where you get the kind of bling in here from that crushed glass. It's actually really cool. The glass serves a purpose, is keeping it really well aerated. Pings really like a well-draining soil. They don't like a soil that really holds and sticks to the water really well. So you want a really well-draining soil. This soil, the Substrate, I should say it's technically not a soil. It's actually available at my store right now. So if you're looking or in the market for Pinguicula substrate, there is a link in the description and a link in the pinned comment. Make sure to go check that out. Also, I'm selling my Pinguicula Sethos, and stick around to the end of the video too, because at the end of the video, I'm gonna actually give you a quick update on my pink Sethos that I repotted a little while back. And I'm gonna show you exactly how big those are getting. They're actually having some really nice growth, and I'm super excited to show you those. So let's go ahead and get all the soil in here. But anyway, head over to my store. Also, California Carnivorous has a lot of really great pings available in stock right now. So if you're looking for something other than a Pinguicula Sethos, make sure to head on over to California Carnivorous. Same thing, the link is in the description and pinned comment. And make sure to use my code BUGEATER to get a nice discount with California Carnivorous. Make sure, and if you want a Pinguicula Sethos, I have those in stock and ready to sell at my store. But if you are looking for something a little bit different, no worries, I completely understand. Head on over to California Carnivorous, use my code BUGEATER to get a little discount there. But here we go. We have the substrate is in here. You can see I didn't have, this isn't a super deep substrate. There's not a ton of it in here, but I did level it out a little bit. Now it's actually pretty straightforward. We're gonna be moving those pings from that tray over into the substrate. Okay, so now we have the substrate here. And I got my pings. Let's go ahead and just start grabbing these and start moving these over. This is a pretty straightforward process. You just want to create a little bit of a divot here for the roots. Some of these might need a little bit separated. And we're just going to kind of pop these down in here like so. Just try your best to get the roots to touch the substrate. Sometimes it's not perfect, especially with these little guys. But usually if you just get them in here, the roots will kind of find the substrate. They're not all going to be perfect. Sometimes they're going to fit in there a little weird. Like look at this one. This one's actually, let's see if I can focus in on that one for you. That one's like a pretty put together little ping. So let's go ahead and create a little divot here, put the roots down in it, and there we go. If they still have the ping leaf attached to them, like this one here, that's perfectly fine. Just keep the leaf on them. The leaf will eventually just kind of turn brown and die. That's totally fine. And the leaf will continue to give them a little bit of extra oomph after you move them to the substrate. So you can kind of put them in your planter here however you want. I like to kind of put them all in nice and tight so that I can fit a lot in here. It's kind of annoying because they're a little bit sticky. These leaves are still kind of sticky. So sometimes it's kind of hard to get these placed. Okay, let's go. I'm gonna go ahead and stop talking and I'm just gonna kind of continue to place these. Okay, here we go. These are the ones that I think were ready. See, a decent look at them there. Now, I know it doesn't look like much right now. Believe me, when I first did this, I thought, man, there is no way that when I put them in here like this, that these are gonna take off. I thought they were gonna all die, but I promise you that they will take off eventually. And let me show you over time exactly what these will look like, because I have some over here in my tent that have been sitting for a while, and I'm going to kind of show you what my collection looks like. Let's go take a look. Okay, I wanted to give you a glimpse here of what these can look like after a while. This is one of my biggest trays right here with my most mature plants. You can see I got a nice little flower right here. These Sethos produce really beautiful little flowers. You can see here that these are all ones that I separated a while back, but this gives you an idea of how big these pings get. Get my hand in there so you have kind of an idea. You can see how big they get. These get really big. These get up to like 4 inches across. These ones aren't done growing, but you can see this tray is doing really well. It's actually kind of overgrown, and it's almost time to move some of these to different trays because they're just growing so well. I got a couple flowering. Here's a tray. These were all like the ones that I just showed you. They all kind of started that way, and now you can see they're all their own individual pings. Over time, they just kind of start to work. And there's another tray right there of some really big ones that I propagated a long time ago. This little planter right here, these were all propagations. So you can see eventually they don't look super pretty right off the bat, but eventually they all start to look really good. Here's a kind of a mix, some younger ones of propagations and separations. Most of these ones over here I think were separations, but some propagations. But you can see that at first they kind of look a little funny, but they'll eventually just kind of take off and start to work really, really well. These are some Lawiana amarginata over here, which these were separations and propagations as well, just a different type of ping. You can do this with most kinds of pings. Here's my ping rock. I guess I'll give you a little tour here while we're here of my different pings. Here's another example of how big these can get. Look at how beautiful this one is. This is a Pinguicula Sethos. This is the same ping that I have for sale right now. You can see how beautiful this flower is. Look at that. Yeah, so if you're interested in one of these, guys, head over to my store. These are for sale right now. These Pinguicula Sethos, these beautiful pings that produce these massive pink pings, and then these really, really cool pink flowers. That's another one right there, a little bit younger. But the ping rock's doing really good. Here's some of my other ones. You guys might remember these. These are a few that I repotted. There's the one that I repotted in my pumice and then in my glass. You can see they're both doing really, really good. I just got a bunch of pings, kind of scattered different types of pings and all kinds of stuff. I got my sundews in here right now. They're going to be moved pretty soon. Another sundew down there. I got some more pullings over there. Just all kinds of stuff. But yeah, so there's a quick tour of my pings and what you can look forward to if you have a big old tray full of pullings. They can eventually turn into these just really, really beautiful adult sized pings. But thank you so much for checking all this out. Make sure to, if you want to see how I did these pullings, there's going to be a video popping up on the screen right now. Make sure and go check that out if you want to learn how to do this process so you can make your own pullings. And this is kind of the final step of what you do for that. And thank you so much for being here. I really hope to catch you in my next video. Bye.